What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, well, another week, another town hall, and I gotta say, this one was jam-packed. Now, the thing is, it was jam-packed from a lineup perspective because you literally had everybody there. And then there were guests, and then there were team members, additional team members that they wanted to introduce. So there was just a lot, and it's like 2 hours of just craziness. Now, there wasn't anything major revealed. I mean, there were a couple things here and there, but it wasn't like, you know, where they dropped 2 new projects on us at the same time with like Rift Watchers and Tower Defense. But there were a couple of things that obviously I wanted to highlight. So for those who might be new to the channel or those who might be new to my videos or this series, this is my 5 biggest takeaways from the town hall. It is not a summary. There's fantastic content creators, both written and audio. And I'm going to shout out Peak D writer Rosie W right now for getting this up literally like, I mean, right after the town hall finished. And this thing is so comprehensive. It's like the minutes. It's not even a summary. It's like if you want to know exactly who said what when, I mean, this is exactly the order that it's written. So it's phenomenal. And shout out to Rosie. So let's go ahead and dive. Actually, before we dive in, I wanted to say that I don't know if it's this week or next week. I'm going to have to double check. But I am coming up on my 1-year anniversary of doing these town halls or these 5 biggest takeaways. They started out a year ago as 5 biggest takeaways from the AMA, I think. So if you go back and search the videos, they're somewhere there. But I just thought it was a little fun fact that I'd share with you guys. So if you've been watching since the beginning, thank you for sticking with me. It's been a heck of a year, and I'm very excited to see where the next 12 months lead us when it comes to Splinterlands and all of its adjacent properties at this point. Okay, now let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share with you my 5 things. We got a couple bonus items as well that I'd like to mention at the end. This is for your visual as well as just my own notes. So let's jump into, I would say, is one of the most important things, in my opinion, long-term for the game, and that is there were 2 guilds that were brought on. Nifty Arcade, who's been on there before. So you had Tyler and Jared from Nifty Arcade. I actually interviewed them on the channel here. I don't even remember when, months back, after the first time that they were on the town hall. And then there was Playground Labs. So Sam from Playground Labs and Capital DAO came on to talk about really big money and being or using guilds, at least in Nifty Arcade's term for them, using large capital or using guilds to bring in large capital, institutional capital. So for those of you who are out there wondering, like, you know, when's the money going to come in? When are people going to come in? I got to say that I think you might be looking at this not the wrong way, but you're looking at it differently than the way that the team is. And you may or may not like whatever I have to say next. Not that I'm going to say anything inflammatory, but I just think that this is where the team is heading based on their own words, right? Like Agrod has talked many times about bringing in these large guilds to bring in more players. So you look at something like Nifty Arcade, and shout out to them. They're great. They're creating a tool that will allow you to essentially manage decks, right? So you can create these collections and I believe delegate them out to people, or people can buy them from you outright. And so obviously they're a guild, they're setting up a guild, and it's very, you know, community focused and giving back. Again, really cool dudes. So I'm excited about what they are doing. But this isn't going to be like a bunch of individual people coming into the space like a year ago when everybody was just looking for projects to ape into. This is going to be a guild that is very much set up on doing, on creating that type of card owner or card lord and scholar relationship. And when you look at Sam at our Playground Labs and Capital DAO, this is going to be something similar. Now they're trying to create something a little bit more complicated, but also easier to use in the sense. I'll need to go back and listen to it again. I apologize. I only listened through it once this time around. I know, shame me. But what's interesting here is you'll be able to have trustless ways to delegate your assets to managers who can then like sub-delegate them out to people who can use them. So we'll have to dig into that part a little bit more, but the main thing is for both of these that it's to bring in a lot of institutional capital potentially, right? Maybe more so Playground Labs, but I know Nifty Arcade is trying to find ways for people for like institutional capital to come in and spend money, right? Because if you want to build a deck or you want to buy a deck, for example, it's kind of tedious to go out and buy a bunch of cards, but the way that they're setting things up is it's easy for someone to come in and they kind of preview their tool there, so you can come in and see like if you want to buy a bronze maxed Chaos Legion deck, it's going to cost X amount, or a silver Chaos Max deck, it's going to cost X amount, right? So like they have this kind of setup to appeal to the larger money. So that's kind of where I think this is going in the future. And what's interesting is they mentioned something that I've heard rumors of, but it seems as though it was talked about today, which is this whole SPS sharing concept. Now, this is based on something already. This is based on Hive. And whenever you post on Hive, you can designate a beneficiary, right? So let's say I wanted to write something and I wanted 10% of whatever rewards I get for writing that, or, whoever upvotes it and those rewards that come in, I can I can, designate somebody to get 10% of it or 15%, whatever the number is. So this is something, like I said, I heard grumblings about before, but I don't know that it was ever officially announced. Maybe today was the day that it was announced. But this whole SPS sharing thing is going to be coming to Splinterlands, which I think is actually interesting and very, very good for the guild model. And so when you think about, okay, it's a lot to manage, right? People are building all these tools for like rentals and all that. And, Nifty Arcade's building out these great tools for guilds. It's a lot to manage still to go in and like, okay, you made X amount of SPS, you get this amount and I get this amount. But if that's already built into the system and all you need to do is type in, okay, the split is 50-50, here is the password to go, and you don't get the keys, go in and play as much as you want. And then at the end of the day, 50% goes to whatever account you want and 50% goes to my account, right? Or 50% goes to the landlord account and, or card lord, I should say. However it ends up being created, I think it's going to benefit a lot of these larger guilds or larger communities, but it can filter down into situations where, even if it's just someone like myself, I'm not a good example of this, but someone like Darkest Night, for example, and I'm not saying that he's going to do this, but for someone like him where he has like a wild deck and a modern deck and is able to delegate them, like this is something where all of a sudden now, if you wanted to get a scholar, it'd be so much easier because then you don't have to worry about like the splitting of assets and all that, at least not from an SPS standpoint, right? You go through and like, it's just like, hey, here's what you get. You get 50% or 60% or 10%, whatever it ends up being. Now, what's interesting about this is, and I'll how do I say this? I mean, I want to play in Champion, but I'm cheap. I don't want to throw down the money for Champion. So part of me is like, well, if Nifty Arcade is just going to be delegating out Champion level decks and I want to play, right? I want to play in Champion. I want to play a Champion account, but I don't really care about the earnings because I have my gold level deck and that's earning also. And if I want to play that, I can. If I want to rent it out, I can. It's almost like I want to be a scholar too to play at the highest levels, and I would actually consider that. And then you had Aggro talking about, he's cracking like, I don't even know how many packs. I think he said he's opened like 50,000 packs so far, and so he wants to be able to use this at some point and delegate some maxed chaos decks out there. So there's an interesting element to this, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I think I see it as the future, right? So I know people may not like this because it's just like, oh, there's like, you can't come in. It's too expensive to play and blah, 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 and all that. But at the end of the day, if you want to play the game, I do think that there are going to be opportunities to play the game at a high level and also earn a decent amount of income. Now, is it going to be what you were making a year ago when the system was completely broken and DEC was 15x its peg? No, I don't think we're ever going to get to times as good as that unless SPS goes to the moon. But you can still play and earn a decent amount, which, if playing is what does it for you, right? And this is what I'm saying, like, people came in last year and started playing even though they didn't like the game just because they could make a ton of money. So if you like playing the game, then, time is going to fly by and you won't look at it like work where you literally got to show up, put in your hours, earn something, and then split 50-50 with the boss, right? So again, I don't know how this will go, but it is intriguing. And, I trust, I'm not trying to throw any shade or any suspicion at Nifty Arcade or Capital DAO. I'm just saying I don't know what the community response will be to something like this. I think ultimately, when new players come in, I think it's going to be great for them to have an option to go in and be like, yeah, I want to be an official scholar for such and such guild. And I'd love to play at the highest levels because bronze is kind of meh, right? And so, and we'll get to this in a second, but the proposition that's going to be, or the proposal that was voted on is going to go live tomorrow. And that's going to have some major ramifications. So actually, let's just jump straight down to number 4. Sorry to do this out of order today. But Prop 2, I guess previously Prop number 34 until they redid the numbering system, this is the one that is going to bucket out SPS into different leagues. Now, I voted yes on this. Obviously, every majority voted yes on it. But I would love to see it readdressed at some point to maybe adjust or tweak the percentages, because right now there's a ton going to champion. But here's the thing, right? Like, if all these champion players are going to be getting all this money, they're also probably the ones that are sitting on a ton of SPS. And I don't think that they're going to vote against it. I don't think they're going to vote for changing it, right? So I would say tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Once this thing goes live, I'm going to be very curious. I'm actually stopping playing now because I want to get my ECR as high as possible. So I want to see what my rewards in gold look like. Because if you think about how much the reward pool gets drained just due to the fact that there's so many, bots or farms still in the game that are playing in bronze or silver. Now, if those two are bucketed off and those two are only getting like 25%, gold is the sweet spot in the middle where gold actually gets its 20% share, right? If everything was getting 20%, that'd be great, but gold is getting 20%. So I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I mean, I have a very strong suspicion it's going to go up, but by how much and if it's significant, I don't know. At this point in time, in gold 2 or, high gold 2, low gold 1, I'm making like anywhere from 1 to 1.5 SPS per win, which doesn't seem like a lot. And I know it's automatically staked, but with SPS kind of being up at that like 7 to 8 cent range, it's not terrible either. Again, it's not dollars like last year, but it's not terrible. It's like when, a couple months ago, before this was implemented, I didn't even know how much DEC I was winning because it was so insignificant. DEC was below its peg and I was getting like fractions of a DEC. It was awful. So now I can actually see this and be like, wait a second. If I play and get roughly like 20 SPS per day, that's like $1.50, right? And again, am I going to retire on that? Are people going to retire on that? No, but it does become significant because I do like to roll my earnings back into cards. And it's just like, wait, if I play every day, I can spend $1.50. I can buy like a summoner a day or something like that, or, start leveling up my deck. That is interesting to me. So I want to point that out. So we'll see what this looks like after it goes live tomorrow. But I do think it is going to shake up the economy quite a bit. And I wonder how the community is going to respond to it, but we'll see. That being said, let me just take a quick moment and say the arbitrage then will be who can rent efficiently and effectively a deck to play in Diamond or Champ and cover their costs. So that's going to be what's interesting. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not playing in Diamond or Champ, but I'll be messaging the people who are playing in Diamond and Champ just to see how much they are making. Okay, so let's backtrack now to number 2, and this is still going to be a very busy week with the Tower Defense presale happening in less than 12 hours, and then the Rooney whitelist going live in a couple of days on Thursday. Now, there are some protections being put in so that we don't have the same issues as what happened in the Rift Watchers presale, and mainly, so for Tower Defense, if we look at it, the general sale is not going to start immediately afterwards. In fact, it's not even going to start like shortly afterwards. It sounds as though the general sale probably won't go live until next week. So you'll know if you got in or if you didn't get in. There's 250,000 packs. I will just let you know right now that I am not aping in. I am done aping in for the moment. I will grab a couple packs, I don't know, like 20, 25, just to have some. And yeah, I think, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. And actually, keep an eye out for another video that I'll try to post before the pre-sale goes live, just in case it's relevant. But yeah, I mean, tower defense, it's cool. I like it. Can't wait to play it, but I've aped into too many things so far. Now, what's interesting is Matt was being very coy about the Rooney whitelist protections, and I wonder if he was not saying anything because he didn't want people to program bots around it, right? And for this whole thing to be botted. So it sounded, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Not that I think he was trying to hide anything on purpose, but, oh, actually, I mean, maybe he was trying to hide something on purpose, but not nefariously, right? It sounded like he just kept saying, we have some things that we're putting in place, but he wasn't getting into specific details because it's like, I want to know, can it be one transaction or one whitelist spot per transaction? Is it what, like that? Actually, that'd be the main thing. But, he kept saying that if you're there on time, you should be able to get one. So that does make me believe that it could be one per transaction. But at the same time, I think he's trying to keep it close to the chest so that nobody can go in and figure out a way how to automate it and front run everybody else. So that is good news for this week. If you're planning to get in on either of these, the Rooney is something that I want to ape into way more than the tower defense. And if it's possible, I would love to get more than one. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that tries to get like 50 of them. But I would love to get more than one if I can. So I will be there when this does go live, and maybe we'll even be live streaming like we were last week. So we shall see. Okay, SPS number 3 is SPS Brawl Rewards and Governance Vote. So Cryptomancer had a nice long section today talking about the upcoming SPS Brawl Rewards. And so he's working on this now. The interesting thing, or biggest takeaway from this that I would say is the numbers for how SPS is going to be split up. And I believe it's like 2.5 million SPS per month that's designated for Brawl Rewards. Somebody can correct me on that. Sorry if I'm wrong. But 2.5 million SPS per month. And, I'm like 99% sure. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I'm like 99% sure it's 2.5 million because there's 5 tiers. And I remember it being 500,000 per tier is not what Cryptomancer was saying, but I was saying if we did get parity across all of the different tiers, then it'd be roughly 500,000 per tier, which means there's nobody playing in tier 4 or tier 5 right now, or at least I think there's nobody playing in tier 4, but there might be some guilds eligible for it, but there's nobody playing in tier 5. So if you can make it into tier 5 or be one of the first and nobody else follows you in, you could be collecting some crazy Brawl rewards or SPS rewards at that level. But that number is not decided yet. And I would imagine if it's not parity across the board, right, 500,000 in each tier, it's probably going to be filtered or, kind of funneled up exponentially towards the top. So again, probably similar to how the proposal 34 is or proposal 2. I can see that happening, but it is going to come down to a DAO vote. So they're not going to make this decision arbitrarily or just internally with the team. This will be something that the community can decide. So if you have a say, make sure you have some staked SPS that is not unstaking, and you'll be able to let your voice be heard. He also did offer some eye candy, which I think is cool. So this is his business card, which is awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, we can't see the full thing. I don't know why it's cut off. But more importantly, you can see here what the future of the SPS rewards will be like, where you can claim these. And I gotta say, I absolutely hate this system. This is like, I'm gonna give as much constructive feedback as I can right now. Just say, I hate this system. I miss vouchers just being dropped to you in the morning. I don't like the fact that because of all the bugs, I can't claim this once, except for once every 3 days. I don't get to compound my SPS every 3 days or every day. I don't get to compound my vouchers into something else every day. So I really, really hope that they could find a way to make it that you don't have to combine literally every reward, because it's like you have your ranked battles, your brawl rewards, your node rewards, and here's the annoying thing, right? if you like, for example, I rented out my cards for a couple of days and I wasn't earning any ranked battle rewards, but I couldn't claim my node rewards that were accruing every day because of the fact that I didn't have any SPS battle rewards, and you require a minimum of 3. So I just, again, I feel like there's got to be a better way than this. And I know here's to the team. It's all love, right? It's all love. I know it's difficult. I know there's fires you're putting out all the time. So I'm being patient, but I'm letting you know that I feel like there's got to be a better way. So hopefully we can get that at some point in the near future. And then you'll be able to see here roughly how much SPS that you could earn in the Brawl Rewards tab. So you can see here, it's not just the merits, but also SPS will be shown. You'll see how many guilds are active, as well as the next potential SPS pot per brawl, which is kind of cool. And you can see that in that pool. And then, yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. So again, it's not decided. And again, it's not 1.25 million. I swear it's 2.5 million. It's going to keep bugging me now until after I'm done with recording this video. Okay, so that is that for Brawl Rewards. There's a lot of exciting things happening. Time frames, though. Let's wrap up this topic, at least on time frames. I don't believe this is going to go live before Splinterfest. It sounds as though there's still some tweaks being done, and then Cryptomancer mentioned that he'll be traveling, and so probably a post-October Splinterfest, I should say, back half of October is when we can expect something like this to go live, which leads me into the final point, which is number 5, my fifth biggest takeaway. Sorry, they're not ordered in any specific one, but biggest takeaway number 5 is the upcoming voucher sync that we'll have within Splinterlands, which is the Blood and Power Stones, both mentioned today in the Town Hall. Now, Cryptomancer said he was working on this before the SPS Brawl Rewards was brought to his attention, and the team decided that was where his attention should be focused. So he left this, but it's almost done, and he says that he'd like to get back to it once SPS Brawl Rewards are out after mid-October, right? So I don't know how long it'll take, but at least we know this stuff isn't coming by any time in October. And I would expect it to be no earlier than like early November at the earliest, assuming everything goes according to plan. Now, you know, I don't even care much about Blood and Power Stones, but I'm sure many other folks in higher up guilds do, with all the Gladius packs that they are cracking open. For me, what I'm interested in is having a consistent or constant voucher sync. And I know nodes are one, but nobody's buying nodes right now, which makes sense. You should not be buying them from the store because they're going for so much cheaper on the secondary market. But what I really want is a voucher sync that has actual use in the game and isn't just going to be for investors. So you want players and people who are actively engaged with the game side of Splinterlands to have a reason to go and spend something. And vouchers, they have a dollar value to them, but a lot of people get them for free, whether from staking SPS or from node licenses. So I want to see this implemented sooner rather than later, because this right now seems to be the only constant voucher sync. We've heard cool ideas for tower defense, but I'm giving the team as much time as possible, and I'm saying that this tower defense isn't coming out until March at the earliest, right? Which is the end of Q1, and Q1 is their kind of time frame. If it comes earlier, then even better. But we are like 7 months away from constant voucher opportunities, or constant voucher whatever within game. But we could be sooner than that within Splinterlands itself if we get this hopefully by November, or I'll just say by the end of the year. So it sucks because there's still a lot of vouchers being printed every month. I think we get roughly 1.2 million vouchers every month, and you can see the sales on Rift Watchers have kind of grinded to a halt. The tower defense, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure tower defense is going to burn a ton of vouchers just for the pre-sale. It's only 250,000 packs, but we'll see what happens once the general sale goes live. But yeah, I want to get rid of these vouchers because I'm getting airdropped a ton of them, and I would love for them to be more expensive. So, it's not, I say that as a greedy bastard, but I'm also saying that from the sense that it doesn't make sense for vouchers to give you a $5 discount on node licenses while only being like 60 cents that they are right now. Something about the economics just doesn't make sense. So it just feels like we have too many vouchers. I mean, we do have too many vouchers, but the syncs just aren't really there. At least the syncs that people were hoping would be there aren't really there. So obviously we'd all love to see voucher prices increase, or at least I would love to see it. But maybe if you don't want voucher prices to go up, then let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, bonus section. Just a couple quick things here. DigiCon is this weekend. I don't know why I keep going out of order. DigiCon is this weekend. Make sure you check it out. I had Waffles Kitty on before the last DigiCon, so if you want information on what happens at DigiCon generally, you can go check that out. I don't know if I'll be able to get her on this week. But Splintercast is a new podcast with Weirdbeard that's going to have guests on that from people in the community, people on the team, people from other blockchains and other games. So I'm excited to check that out. I don't know if it's live yet, but he did mention it, or that it is coming soon. So, and I think Dwayne and Crypto Llama are going to be on the first episode. So for all of you people trying to find more content to listen to, that should be a good one. Okay, that is all I have for you guys. I mean, there's some other eye candy here that we could take a look at. If you're going to Splinterfest, there are going to be physical packs of Chaos Legion being given away, which is kind of cool. And then you got some more eye candy here, different Rooney. And yes, we found out that Rooney is plural, so there's no Roonies. It's just Rooney solo and then Rooney again, like deer apparently. So super fun. We did get, here's the last bonus, and then I'll sign off. We did get this dude who is going to be the first airdrop for Rift Watchers, and that's because we hit 500,000 packs in the presale right away. So the first airdrop is technically Oshur, so that's unlocked. But because we hit 500K, we're going to get this dude, which is apparently a death dragon. Don't ask me how. I believe Nate said that it's just the dragon died and now he's undead, so technically he's death. He renounced his dragonship and now he fights for Team Death. We didn't get stats on this, but Matt was in the comments talking about how it is a high magic damage, low mana card, and it had some interesting abilities. I believe Blast, Reflection Shield, and one more. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. But I'd wait until the stats come out because this stuff changes a lot. And Matt even said, everything is subject to change. So just enjoy the artwork for now, and hopefully we will get some cool stat candy very soon. But that is all I have for you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.